Well, good afternoon. All right, let's try that again. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry, I had the volume on my laptop and the feedback is horrible. Hope you're having a great day. Let's go ahead and make sure that you can hear me. Go ahead into the chat box and type in the number one for yes, two for no. You can type in words if you'd like. I'm just trying to make it easy for you. Hey, Jim, glad to hear it. Fantastic. Thank you, Charles. I appreciate it. Hey guys and gals, how'd you guys make out with trading today? How was trading as a day today? Really good, Jim said. Excellent. Yeah, it has been a good day. That's for sure. Hopefully more than just Jim. Computer issues. Gotta love it, David, right? Gotta love it. Jim said bought puts on the gap, on SPY. Okay. I don't know who that is from Kansas calling me. But we're not in Kansas anymore. So no need to answer it. It's going to be a good day, Robert said. Yeah, it is. Website issues, but all worked out, Joe. Yeah, it's just. Are we in the? I don't know, Jim. Morning, Helen. Yeah, it's been a good day. I was talking to everybody on my team earlier today. We have a meeting early on Monday mornings, and telling them that Friday I went to go. I wanted to wind out of my covered calls and roll out to this week. And all of a sudden I was in the other room and I hear TradeStation's bell go off to let me know that the market just closed. Went, oh no, I forgot. All right, got to do it on Monday. And I own, some stocks that got hurt by COVID. I didn't have them from then, but just some things I'm doing covered calls on. And some of those stocks were up massive percentages today. So no skill whatsoever, just sheer dumb luck, right place, right time. But part of that is you've got to trade. You've got to hit the button. You got to hit enter and get into that trade if you want to have that opportunity at all. So, all right, let's go ahead and jump in. See what's going on. So we got Trading You coming up on November 11th. Monster Market Movers on the 18th. The Inner Circle is on the 19th. I've got Power Hour, of course, each and every Monday. Mastermind Group is every Tuesday night, 8 to 9 p.m. And then Covered Call Explorer, Power Option Plays, E-mini Think Tank are all on track for a regular schedule this week. Here is our Follow Us page. Go ahead and do this. There we go. Forgot it wasn't open. Here's our Follow Us page. So make sure you are, if you haven't already done so. Jim said the election is going to drag on till January. Yeah, I don't know if it's going to quite make it to January, but it's definitely going to drag out. There's no question. It's definitely going to drag out. So we'll see what the courts come back with and say what was and was not legal, right? We'll see. I mean, at least the rhetoric has been turned down, so that's good. You haven't heard from Trump. Biden's been on his best behavior. He seems to not be yelling as much now, so that's good. So, and if you're questioning, I talked about this because we haven't been together. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, we have not been together. Last week was pre-election. You're wondering why the markets are going up, even though the expectation was down if Biden were to win. And has nothing to do with the fights that Trump's putting up. Markets already calculated in that he loses. What's keeping the markets up, and not today, what's keeping the markets up is the Senate. There's no blue wave. There's no do whatever you want now. The Democrats have everything. And it almost should be to the point that should never happen. Democrats or Republicans should never have everything, because you're not representing the interests of the entire country when you do that. The split is exactly where it should be, in my opinion. Good morning, Ed. Ed, how is trading today? So make sure you're following along with us. If you're not, you'll see some new things coming out in there. We had a great week last week in power option plays. Oh my goodness gracious. DX said that could change in January. Very possibly. Very possibly, DX. You know, I get it, you know. Okay. So let me take this down. Larry said, too bad the vaccine wasn't announced before today. Yeah, you know, we knew it was closed, but the Redemza Fear, whatever, one of the R that was announced, that was approved, right? That's all good. This was great announcement today as far as news goes. I mean, you look at the markets and you look at the S&P. Whoop, there it is. Right? Look at that gap. Look at that run on the S&P. Right? And that, my friends, is an all-time high. Yeah, it's an all-time high. Yeah. Oh, good. So you did the micros on the YM, Ed. Good. $214. There you go on the micro. Yeah, I got 60 ticks this morning on YM. Would have been nice if I held on a little bit longer, but I'm watching CNBC and they're talking about Pfizer and like, huh, what? And was able to pick up a quick 60 ticks on the market. Obviously, there was a lot left on the table, but I am not complaining whatsoever. Did we actually get to 30 today? We had a high of, yeah, exactly 30,000. That was the failure point of the 30,000. So overall, nice move on the markets. And I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 or 7 trades off on in between my diagonals and my covered calls today. Didn't do any naked puts, just managed the positions that I had. So that's good. I mean, SPY is doing great. I love SPY. It's a big part of my portfolio is SPY. So come on. All right, there we go. Woo! Look at that gap. Look at the gap right up to the negative 272 and a failure point right there. All right, go figure. Go figure. Right. So when you look at the markets and what's going on, folks, we're not there yet. We are not there yet. This is a vaccine. They had one of Biden's picks. I don't know who the guy was, but he was just talking on CNBC. One of his picks for the science community that's going to help with the COVID virus was talking about, yes, this thing with Pfizer came out and 94 people and it was positive in 90%+ of them. And that's great. But he's saying we don't know the severity of the condition. Was it just an upset stomach and sniffles, or how severe was it on helping to prevent? So I don't know. There's some questions that they have in there. He also said some things that were a little bit concerning. And let's see. Dow's holding okay. He said some things that were a little bit, and I'm just looking over at the TV. I've got it on CNBC. He said something that was a little concerning, that basically it sounded like we may have to shut down things in the economy to make it better. Follow along with what some of Asia did, which you remember trying to lock people in their houses and said you can't come out until this is gone. So a little concerned from that side if we tried to do something like that. But so when you look at COVID virus, it's not gone. It's not over. You look at the election, it's not over. For those of you that remember 2008, when we had the crash, right? And then Alan Greenspan was the Fed chair, right? And every time a government official came out to speak, even if it was great news, we're sending out a stimulus check, everybody's getting $500. It didn't matter. Every time the government opened their mouth, the market went down immediately. And right now we could see not necessarily down, but market shifts up or down based on which one of the candidates has an announcement to make. Not who, but more of what the announcement is, right? Wall Street may have preferred to have President Trump in there, but Biden as the president-elect, right? There's the uncertainty is still there. The news channels have called it, right? But that's it. There's still uncertainty. The market doesn't care for uncertainty. Even if they said Biden wins, you're not going to see the market crash any longer unless somehow the Senate gets lost, right? That would be a whole different ballgame at that point. So you've got COVID announcements. You've got what's going on still with the election. And then when you look at COVID, look at some of the stocks that have done extremely well, right? You look at stocks like, let me just do this. Zoom, right? I mean, look at the move Zoom had made, right? And then look at today. Zoom is down almost $60. Look at Wayfair, right? Here we go, April. Look at the run, right? Came down. They had some of their own negative news with human trafficking and stuff like that, but they're down $50 today, right? Amazon has done phenomenal, throughout all of this. They're down $85 today. Okay, so yeah, Etsy, good, Robert, right? Etsy, right? Definite COVID stocks, right? Let me bring this current. There we go. So let me move this out of the way. So it's a little bit easier to see. We're down $14 on this $150 stock. So 10% to the downside, right? So you see these stocks like this and they're getting crushed. Let me rephrase that. They're not getting crushed, right? They're getting hit. They're not getting crushed. Bad choice of words on my side, right? But you have some of this now where people are saying, okay, do I need to order from Wayfair or can I just go to my local store and buy my furniture, right? It's okay to go back to Bob's Discount Furniture. And that's pretty much what Wayfair is. They just deliver and make you put it together. That's it, right? You go to Bob's or you go to whatever store you go to, Macy's, whatever it is, whatever store you decide to go to, right? So you see some of that. Even, what's the ticker symbol for Macy's? M, okay. Macy's, okay. Not a huge move, but we're talking about what was a $6 stock is now $7.39, right? 82-cent move. Okay, dollars and cents, not very big, but percentage-wise, tremendous, right? So, and they're not doing well, period. Hanging on by the seam of their pants, right? But you're going to start seeing other companies now, such as American Airlines, right? $11.40 cents, now $13.34 today, right? Delta. Ooh, nice move. Gee, look where it opened up today. Let me get across here. Look where it opened up today. See right here? 37.24, right there. That was the failure point right off of there. Love. That's a love. Right, which is Southwest Air. Right, so you got airlines, you've got retail, right? What is Carnival? No, it's not car. Yeah, can someone tell me what Carnival is? Disney. There you go. That was going to be my next one. I'll just put that one in, Jim. Thank you, Charles. So Disney, $13.50 up, another 10% move today, right? Phenomenal. They're talking about tomorrow going 100%, opening 100% in Florida, I think. They were saying on CNBC. So a lot of activity. So what were our COVID stocks, the Zooms of the world, the Etsy's of the world, the Wayfairs and so forth, you may see a transition, a shift away from them now because people are saying, we'll still need Zoom, but do we need it the same way we did before? As much as we did before, right? Maybe we don't run out of toilet paper this winter. Clorox, all right? There's a drop of $15, so 7%-ish to the downside. Robert said Macy's is trading like a discount store at $7.38 and Walmart is trading like an upscale store at $145.82. You're right, Robert. You're right. And if you look at it, you get a Macy's is a little bit of a higher end store, right? It's not high end, but it is definitely on the higher end of the scale, right? It's the comparison. If you took Walmart would be the deep discount store, right? And some of that is people were able to afford it. Macy's didn't sell toilet paper. Big disadvantage for them. They probably should do that going forward now. Is offer toilet paper as one of the products they sell. Maybe if they can get Lysol, I would go there and pick it up. Right, but you got Walmart having the basic household items that were harder to get, and they are a big behemoth, so they can yield some control. And things are getting better. I am finding some of this stuff out in the stores. I'm very fanatical of making sure we have enough when it comes to the cleaning products, the Lysol wipes and the bleach and all that good stuff, and Lysol spray. I did find some of it at Costco this last week, so we're starting to see more of it hit the shelves. Local stores perhaps are seeing it as well. Small cans of Lysol spray, but they're getting them. Home Depot, guys, if you're looking for the sanitizing wipes, Home Depot has them. Who would think to go to Home Depot? I caught it by mistake the other day. Right, bought a bunch of them while I was inside of there. So, and they're alcohol based. So at least the ones we bought. So you've got all of these stores and businesses that were not the darlings that may start to shift. So I was, Robert had put in, I think it was a couple of you, Charles, Patricia had put in CCL, right, which is Carnival. And there's Carnival up $5 on a $15 stock. They're up 33% today, right? Amazing, phenomenal moves that we're seeing on some of these stocks. Now, look at the candles. Look here at the candle. Look at Love. Ooh, people can go on airplanes yet again. Oh, wait, but not yet. Okay, so pull back, right? Good trading opportunities. You've got to understand the pattern, and today might not be the day to try to, when it opened, to try to get that trade long. Actually, I tried to sell covered calls on some of my airline stocks that I own and could not sell them on the open. 10 minutes in, I walked away and came back because, excuse me, there was no covered calls to be had. The market makers weren't trading the options on them just yet. They were holding back. All right, so let me see what we got here. Question for David said, question for all the vaccines is how well they work at preventing the disease. Absolutely. Pfizer is 2 shots. You got to get them a month apart. If you miss, forget. How long do they last? Is it 3 months, 6 months? Is it a one time? Do you need a booster in 10 years? What's it coming down to? So absolutely. Yeah, DX, you may be right, my friend, about that basement deal. Let's see. Larry said, interesting that regular flu cases are down almost 60% compared to last year. People lock themselves up. They've got masks on. They're not going to get as sick. When I was in Costco last week, two of the people at the cashier station had plastic masks on. They had their face mask and a plastic shield. I got to tell you, I don't know how soon before I take a regular mask off my face, even if they say, no, you're safe. There's only a 5% chance of getting it. Going into a store, like a Home Depot or such, just not sure how I'm going to do that. Let's see. Suzanne said, friends who are Walmart employees say it's been like Christmas, packed several days of the week for many months, insane volumes of shoppers. Oh yeah. I've seen it. Because where I go for my Costco, one of the Costco's we go to is a Walmart is right next door. Yeah. News came out on Pfizer a week or two too late. Yeah, and that's why Trump was pushing, saying maybe before the election we'll have it. And so the first thing my wife says to me is, did they purposely hold it back? There's a question. So Trader Will said you can avoid all the regular flus with good protection. Yep. The virus, this virus is like a flu. We need to go back to normal, get rid of the masks. Masks are definitely not good. Absolutely not. I mean, you're coughing, sneezing into your own mask. You're not expelling that. Not good. The cutting down on the breathing, respiratory issues. Absolutely. Our kids, I'm petrified of what young kids today are going to have as problems 20, 30, 50 years from now. Yeah, DX. You and my wife are on the same page. Yep, Robert said the same thing. You never know, guys. Listen, you don't know what's in the hearts of men, right? What did they do? Who did it on purpose? Did somebody throw votes away? Did they add Biden votes? Did they add Trump votes? Did the postal do this? Did this one do that? You don't know. All you can do is the best that you can. That's it. I didn't mail anything in. I didn't drop anything off. I voted, right? That's me. I chose to do it, right? Less chance of being manipulated. Now, the thought that New York is ever going to go Republican is, at least anytime in the near future, is pretty slim to none, right? So, guys, there's a lot of stuff to be watching for, but you cannot tunnel vision this and say the market's going up now. You've got to be watching for what that next news story is, what that next thing is, right? Pfizer's vaccine is supposed to be a good vaccine, according to Pfizer, right? There's been no peer studies of it yet, nothing. We don't know the results of children, the effects on children yet. They haven't been tested with it. We don't know a lot of things about it. But is another company going to come out with a vaccine that's better? They just said one of the biggest drawdowns to the Pfizer vaccine is it must be refrigerated at temperatures much higher than a home freezer can even generate or produce, right? So it's got to be colder than zero. Well, okay. Now we're at wait a second. How many doctors' offices or labs can even have that? They need some kind of deep freeze that goes much colder than zero, whatever that. They didn't say the temperature, just said much colder, right? So another company comes out. There may be 3 or 4 companies out there. Pfizer's a 90%. Somebody else's is 65% accuracy. And you don't, unless you're asking for a specific one, when you walk into the doctor's office, you don't know what you're getting. It's like flu. There's 3 or 4 different vaccines for flu, including one that they just said you could take orally. Right? How good they all are, which one is better or worse, I don't know. Yeah. Very true, Robert. You don't know what's going to be said next. And that's just it, Jim. And that's where keeping a clear head about what you see on the market is what you really need to focus on. It's great to dig into the Pfizers and to dig in to the Walmarts or the Costcos or the Zooms or the new ones now, the Delta Airlines, the cruise lines, all of that stuff. AMC. I don't know what the ticker symbol is. Let's see. AMC movie theaters. It might be AMC. AMC Entertainment. Okay. AMC Entertainment, right? Look at that. We're talking about a 100% increase, $2 to $4. Now, granted, you go back pre-COVID, you go back to the beginning of the year, they were up at $8. So they're at 50% of where they were, right? But overall, the move in comparison, they're close to bye-bye, right? Look at the bottoming pattern inside of here, right? Great move up today. Okay? But you cannot focus on this one thing. I can't say it enough. You've got to make sure you know what's going on in the market. Check the S&P 500, right? Obviously, keep coming back here, and we'll talk here, right? Keep coming back here as we go over that stuff. If you're in power options plays, if you're in Brandon's E-mini think tank, folks, I mean, you're talking about those of us that have been trading the market for decades. My team has over 100 years experience in the markets. Between myself, Brandon, Tony, Amelia, Amy. I mean, we're there, guys. Lisa, there's tons of market experience, right? And then there's still one other person that we're working with right now to bring on as well. I mean, you guys have met Dale. Some of you have gotten to some of the free trainings that Dale did. Dale Zamzo, great friend of mine. I spoke with him last week. He wants to come back and do a couple more. Talking about wisdom and knowledge. I mean, he's got 25 plus years of financial market experience. Right? Fantastic. Robert said they're building a bunch of freezer farms to house the vaccines. I think at negative temperatures. Yeah, maybe, Robert. Wow. Trip Heard, he thinks minus 70 Celsius. Wow. Suzanne said, that was my very first live training class. Yeah, he's a great guy. He really is. I love him to death. He's a very good friend, fierce friend. Okay, so let's go take a quick look here at markets. Let's go back over here. Let's see what we're looking at for net change. Actually, let's do it here. It's much more. Watch. Biogen. Oh, wait a second. Holy mackerel. They're back down below where they were. I don't know what happened with their drug, with their Alzheimer's drug, or if there was something that they were working on with COVID and they got crushed on it now. But I mean, they're down 100 points today to their low. They're lower than they were last week when they made the announcement. All right. Who else? Amazon's getting crushed. Somebody had said Netflix earlier. I don't remember who it was that said it. Yes, Jim. I spoke to Ryan actually this morning. He and I were texting a little bit this morning. So, yeah. So Rick said his friend Tim just said that Amazon is down 100 points. Oh yeah. Yep. 88 right now. 88.61. Roku, another one. Right. Netflix down 27. The Depot, Home Depot. Facebook has got some crazy stuff going on. Facebook ad accounts are getting shut down, banned, like, wildfire right now, and they don't know why. They can't figure it out. Right. So let's see what's happened as far as the upside goes. Booking 270 points to the upside. I mean, talk about an amazing move. $270 points puts them over $2,000, right? And 2078.67, it was the all-time high. Actually, no, we got a new one over here. So we still beat what was the all-time high. Let me just make sure. I don't think we got higher than that. Oh no, my bad. We're up here. My bad. Nope. So right now, I mean, they're doing phenomenal. Great move. They blew through the Fibit right here. They're doing absolutely phenomenal, right? Tough day today to try to trade these companies that have had some of these bigger moves, right? You got to kind of look for the right, entry point on them. So intraday, all the day trading techniques that I teach in Power Option Plays, and all the bonus stuff that I did in Pop 5K on techniques for getting in. I've taught in Mastermind Group and Inner Circle. Use those techniques to help you. The stuff we do with gaps, use those techniques to help you if you're trying to find ways to enter. Yeah. Minus 70 is 213 degrees Kelvin, Robert said. Oh, okay, sounds much warmer. What about buying a put on these to look for a gap fill? Possibly, David. Very possibly, if I can get it near a key level, but you won't get a gap fill. Remember, if you run gap statistics on these stocks, you won't find anything that's gapped up this much that has any real value to it. If we go and run, let me just pull it over here. And let me go find my gap statistics. There we go, gaps. All right. Run your gap stats here. Booking. I'm going to go back. Let me go back 2 years. Let's go back to 2018. Let's go to November. Let's go find. We'll do something early in the year. End date. Let's go to Friday. There we go. Okay. So let's go down to the highest level, right? We had 118 gaps that were over $20. Of those, look at the columns, 1, 2, 3. The third column is filled. 34 of the 118 were filled, right? So only on 100% gap fill, only 28, 29% of them fill. So, and I'm just using this as an example. It just happened to be the one we were on, which was booking, right? So we don't have, there's a lot of gaps. The numbers are large, right? But David, when you look at the 50% gap fill, you got 61%. When you look at the 618, you got 55. So your likelihood is not very high to trade it. So yes, checking gap statistics will help if you're looking to buy that put and get that gap fill. Right. So Robert said on the gap fill, this news on Pfizer is extraordinary news and may not fade the news. Right. You may not get that gap fill or the fade, as Robert said, on this setup there. So caution, grasshopper. All right. All right. So who else? Booking was the big one, right? MasterCard, $35 move. Google, $30 move. Wynn, $20 move. Wynn is a stock that we've looked at forever in pop. And I just said it a week ago, we may need to look at getting rid of Wynn out of our list because it's not doing anything. And there's Wynn goes from 80 to 100. It's a 25% move in one day, right? The likelihood that people can come back to casinos. I mean, one of the guys on CNBC this morning said, I'll be the first one line to get the shot. If I can get on an airplane and fly anywhere I want without any fear, I'll be the first one to get the vaccine, this new vaccine, right? Correct, David. David then said, because David was wanting to ask about the gap fill. So the gap is just too big for a normal gap fill expectation. Yes, and that's why, guys, that's why each of these tools, this is why Benzinga wrote us up in their, in a press release that they did, that we were doing this. They were blown away when they saw what we were using the data for that we get from them. And you run the numbers and good, bad, or indifferent, you can figure out what the right gap is. And if booking does a gap fill or not, right? I mean, they may not do a lot of gap fills, but here's a great example. Here, since we're on it, let me just share it, right? $4 to $5 gap, small gap on booking. And I'm just using this as an example so I could show you further down, right? 25 gaps, 19 of them filled, 6 of them did not. 76% of the gaps filled. That is great, right? But now if we come down here and say, okay, $18 to $19. We got a small number there. Let's see. Let's use this. 14 to 15. $21. 14 of those gaps, third column, filled. 7 of those gaps did not fill. 100% gap fill, 66%. So that's the minimum. I'm looking for 65% is my minimum there, right? But I look at 65%. It's okay. It's not bad. It's okay. But 90% of those had a 1/2 gap fill. So David, now armed with the information, right? I know that if I get a $14 gap, I got a 90% chance. Let me not do it in the Brooklynese. I have a 90% chance of a 1/2 gap fill, $7 on booking, if it gaps between $14 and $15, right? And then I could take it a step further and go calculate it, whether it was up or down. Today is up, right? So this is gapped up. So $14 to $15. Yep. So the numbers hold very well here on that $14 to $15, 92% chance of filling on a gap up. And 14 to 15 is 85% chance on a gap down. So regardless of the gap direction on booking, $14 to $15, I got a $7 move potential that I could take advantage of. Now that I'm a big fan of, huge fan of. So it's getting the information, David, and then trading off of that. Today's big gaps on some of these companies that are the non-COVID or the ouch COVID or COVID ouch candidates, right? The airlines, and such, right? Those stocks might be too much of a gap today I mean, how do you look at a $2 stock and said now it's 4? You know, it's 100% gap fill. You know, when it gapped 100% of its value, it's a little on the tough side there. All right, cool. So overall, nice moves on the day. So you guys tell me, what stocks do you want me to look at? Throw them at me, baby. Come on, feed them. Feed them to me. Feed me, Seymour. Feed me. Cisco. And this is the C, not the S. Not Cisco Foods. All right. So Cisco, nope. Wrong go one. All right. So Cisco took a gap up, still moving down. Rick, overall pattern is bearish. Even with the gap up, nothing about this tells me, ooh, take a bullish trade on it. We're right now in a neutral territory, neutral bias. I really need to see it close above that 55, the 8 start to move up higher. But I'm not surprised to see a fail right in here. Look left, right in here. And if you really zoom in on it and come off of these tops in here, right, which the body on the 1 gets a bit higher, the close gets right there. You could see how darn close we came to that. Earnings coming out in a couple of days. I'd be cautious, big time on this one. AMD, Tripp's asking for. All right, so as you can see, no big move on AMD from the news today. We're in bullish territory, true bull, Tripp, right? So let's do this. The S&P 500, true bull. Rob, I've heard you say that before. What does true bull mean? It means the 8, the pink line, is on top. The green, the 21, is next. And the brown, the 55, is down below. Don't worry about the little dashed blue line that's inside of there. That's for one very specific exit that we use, which in reality, when you look at it, we haven't used that 5 in months because of COVID. It hasn't come. Oh, all right, Rick. So I'll go back and look at that. So let me go back to AMD. All right. So Tripp, you got resistance at 87, support at 83. There's not much else in there. If I was grading it, you know, where we were on Thursday of last week, we were right at that support level. That I would give it, a 2. Here we're 3. We're not at a support at all. We don't have confluence, which is why a 2 versus a 1. But there's not a lot of strength. Correct, Jim. The true bull says the moving averages are lined up correctly. So the way that works out, let's see, annotate. Right? The way it works out, we want to see the pink line as the top one. The green line is the second one. And the brown line is the third line. That makes it true bull. The exact opposite for bearish, right? Where the pink line would be on the bottom, then the green, then the brown. Okay, let me go back to Cisco. Rick was looking for fibs on it. The problem is we don't really have anything that's any good, Rick. So if we grab a drawing tool, colors are not really my style of colors. So if you look what's going on here, let's see this. We're just gonna have to make it bigger. So we got a little bit of V top in there, come down. That's more of a sideways move. Then you got a V bottom, another V bottom. You got all this sort of V stuff happening in here, right? If we draw from here to here, there's a potential, but we may have already run out to the negative 618, possibly, right? If you try drawing from here to here, I just don't know if you actually even have enough dollars and cents to make it work. So if we hit clear, Looking back at the mouse. That's probably our best choice right there, Rick, for fibs. For fibs is right there. Remember, this moved down. This was all sideways. There's no V in here. That gave us the V. Let me see something, Rick. I think we're going to go off of this bottom right here instead. And here's why. When we did it off of here, we did not get a pullback to the 236. This one did make it back to 236, so we're good. I don't know what that line is. I'm just going to delete it out of that for now. All right. So we bumped our head right on the 4016 line today. That's basically where the high of the day was. Overall pattern still bearish. All right. I hope that helps. Yeah, Rick said, thanks. It was a tough one. Analysts said it was bottoming. And Cisco was bottoming. Okay, well, there you go. David's asking for Big Airplane. You know, I didn't look at them today. So a little bit of a gap up, but, you know, nothing in comparison to the $450 they once were. That's for sure. Fibs, I mean, we're dealing with a very old fib on it because there's been nothing. They've just been sideways. I wonder how much of this is this just them just getting sucked into the rest of the moves. I don't know if this actually clears up their problems or not. I mean, it's got to help with some of the other planes they manufacture, but not with the big one they're having a problem with right now. Right? So 188.68, but I would need pullbacks to the moving averages to do anything. And, you know, remember, 3 phases of how you sit, right? In your desk chair. This is one. Oh, that sun feels good. All right? It's exactly why I built the office the way we did. Have that sun there, right? This right here takes me out of the realm of hitting any keys, right? Very relaxed, nothing setting up on it. There's nothing for me to do on this stock right now. You could try to intraday trade it. You could look for other, you know, horizontal support and resistance levels by looking left. All of that stuff can be considered, but we're in the middle of nowhere here, which means we could fall just as fast as we went up on this today, right? So, David, I would be looking for some kind of pullback to a bounce off a moving average, but nothing about it for me says to take any kind of directional trade. It would only be a day trade right now. And that's what you're going to see on a lot of them. Plug. Hope that helped, David. Robert's asking about Plug. Nice move. All right. Plug Power. Okay. Let me see. All right. We got all these lines that are down at very low dollar amounts that don't help us any in our analysis. So we grab our pen. You got this. Okay. So it looks pretty clear where the bigger move is here to here, right? I just don't know if it's going to give us enough room to work. Let's see. It's very simple. Draw the fib. If I can get at least $1 between the 50 and 618, I'm on the right track. I'm 96 cents difference in there. You're close enough, right? I mean, again, today, same thing, Robert. Even after we draw the lines, I mean, look where we are right now. We're bumping our head on the negative 272. But even after we draw the lines, until I get a pullback, unless you're a breakout trader, which I can't do, I don't do as well there. I get a better result if I get a pullback and a bounce than I do on the breakout. But I do like the stock. Robert, you've talked about this one for a while. All right. So Apple has been a non-event, right? It's up $2 on the announcement, right? They've already had some great runs from COVID, right? People buying more computers. They need them for home, right? Whether I buy it myself or my company's got to buy it for me, right? Very important that they've already made some of that move in there. So on Apple, top secret folder. I just had Apple down for a day trade. I just want to make sure I didn't write any additional notes in there when I was doing this yesterday. So day trade. So what would I be looking for? If I can get a pullback to the 119.33, if I close where we are tomorrow, get a pullback to the 119.33 and bounce, 126.5 is my target. $8, 19 to 26. Yeah, this is good. Clear path. We look for a concise entry. 120.57. You could take a small move to the upside if we closed here tomorrow, but my stop is still going to be somewhere down the 119, below the 119.33. Let's see. So David, I hope that, I'm sorry, Daniel, I hope that helped. And then not Apple, Twilio. Right, little hit, but nothing crazy. $300 stock, it's down what, 3%, $10? Not a big deal. But it does move it down into a neutral bias at this point on Twilio. So to me, the better, when I say better, I'm not saying I want it to do this. I could care less what it does. Don't ever take an emotional side of the trade at all. It's not I want it to do this. No, I want it to do whatever it does. I just want to be able to capitalize on what it does. But when I say the better trade would be if it moved up, because it's easier to set this up as a bullish trade than it is to set it up as a bearish trade, is what I'm saying, right? I like it better with the relationship of the 8 and 21 compared to where the price is now. I would prefer to see that make its move up, would be great, all right? Get above the 293.77 on Twilio, close above, pull back, bounce, 312, 342 are my upside targets. And it's not like we haven't been there before. We've been there within the last couple of weeks. So the opportunity is still there. All right, so I hope that helped. So PK, so what about a day trade on AMD? Let's see. I mean, could you do one today? You could if you want to play off of that 83.16 level, yes. So we go to AMD. $83.16 is down here. So we came down and we closed. We took a bounce. So right, intraday, early on, 5 minutes, 6 minutes into the market is where you would have taken that bullish trade. You had some heat to take because it did drop. But within that first 10 minutes, you would have taken that bullish entry. To go back and try to take another bite at the same apple, PK, may become a little bit harder to do. All right. Mike, how you doing, sir? Mike's asking for Starbucks. Let's see. So I guess Starbucks is up because people can actually go out and buy coffee. I think they're a cult. I don't think people stopped buying coffee from them. Let's go back and look at a little bit bigger picture. All right. So this fib is long gone. Not one I normally trade. When you look at new fib potentials, just let's go to template number 1. All right. Mouse here. Mousey. Let's see. I mean, we got a lot of little hiccups in there. Just not a fun place at all. Not my favorite way of having to do this, that's for sure. So if we look, so we got that V bottom. This was a fairly significant one still. Yeah, it's just nothing that excites me in here at all as far as where to draw from. $1.50 is all we're looking at inside. We're already above the negative 618. Yeah, so Trader Will said I was trading an ascending triangle on Starbucks and it just blew through the resistance line. Yeah, so I see the tops right in here. There's your tops. And it just depends where you chose your bottoms from. Picked it down here, it's a little tougher if you're trying to work off of this. Probably the better one there. All right, so let me go back, Mike. Let's go back over to template number 2. We've got moving averages. Yeah, it needs to settle. I mean, it's too far away from anything at this point, right? It's all a matter of what happens over the next couple of days. Does any of this stuff get shot down? Do people wake up and said, "Oh my God, we made it go up how much?" You know. Let's see. All right, so Deborah, WKHS. All right, so you definitely want to confirm. I don't know if earnings came out already today or not. $17 stock. Who are they? Workhorse Group. Not sure what sector they're in, but we've had a little bit of a bounce back up. Yeah, we're okay there, but nothing great. I'd like to see it get back down below the 8 and look for that 15 as the downside target. Consumer discretionary. Thank you, Will. I appreciate that. There's just not a lot of wiggle room on this one right now. Right, plenty of upside potential if it can make a move up, but if it's continuing down, there's really not much. 15, 13, and $11 is the next target. FSR, Deborah's asking for also. FSR. No FSR on my charts here. Deborah, sorry. I don't know if it was a different symbol or if it's just one that TradeNav doesn't track. Let's see. Keith's asking for NVIDIA. All right, so we're bumping our head on ugly. That zero line, we've been there before. Look for a zero line breakout. Get me above the zero line, a retest and a bounce. Remember, you've got 600 and 610 right above there. So good potential. We move about, wow. Oh, it's this NVIDIA, my bad. So we move $24, $21 a day, $42 is our pivot. So, yeah, maybe. Robert said maybe it was First Solar. Yep, possibly. So preferably I'd want to see the pullback to the 552 on NVIDIA. They have earnings coming out on the 18th confirmed, so be careful there. Day traded only. SPY, Eric is asking for. One of my favorites. Ran right into the negative 272. Either A, it's got to close above 363, bounce and go, or it's got to pull back to at least 354. The 8 should catch up if it takes a few days to get back there, and then look for the bounce there. Let's see. Robert said, I was looking at selling against my long call on Starbucks, but I didn't, since I thought it would go and test the previous highs from earlier this year around 97. Glad I didn't sell against it. Exactly. All right. So Deborah said it's a recent IPO on electric vehicles, started trading last week. That's probably why it's not in trade nav. Mickey D's. Jim said earnings this morning and beat estimates announcement. Looking into non-meat burger negative reactions. Ooh. I don't know if it's the non-meat that's given the negative reaction to it, but it has had a really nice run. That is for sure. It's kind of this hiccup in here, this big move up, big move down. We're kind of all in that same range there. But we've moved into bearish bias no matter what. And not true bear, but we're close enough. The 8 is the lowest moving average right now. So, yeah, so Trader Will said he loves First Solar. It's making a run to 100, which we go into very heavily in monster market movers, right? Good gap, but it's failed, pulled back to 88.5 at this point. Oh, not good today. My bad. There you go. But you still have $400. I like it. I like it a lot. Fantastic. All right. Beautiful. Okay. So make sure you know how to read your charts. All right. Make sure that you know when you get into whatever platform you use, TradeStation, TOS, IB, I don't care, whatever one it is, right? Morgan Stanley, I don't care. Whatever your platform is, make sure that you can look at and read those charts. See the template I have laid out? This is a great way for someone to start. You don't necessarily need the one with the Bollingers on it unless you want it for a specific reason. That is just for one very specific trade setup for me. Other than that, I don't use that chart at all. I just leave it on this to make it easier for me to work, right? Make sure you understand how to read the charts. Make sure you get really good at the 3 phases. You know, just checking it out. All right, this is pretty interesting, right? Need to focus on it. And then, all right, we're ready. Sitting up on the edge of your chair. All right, get really good at, and you don't have to physically do it. You know, I used to tell, when I did live events, I would tell a joke about calls and puts to help you understand what a call and a put was. And I'd use a telephone example, right? And I would have my cell phone in my hand. I would talk about this girl, Mary, that I really liked when I was in high school. And we had no caller ID, no cell phones, right? There was no answering machines. You had to pick up the phone, right? And I said, I was really nervous. My friends were pushing me, call her, ask her out, call her. So what did I do? When I wanted to place a call, I picked up my phone. So for a call, the phone comes up. When you want to buy a call, you want the stock to go up. And I said hello. And once she heard my voice, she hung up. So then I had to put the phone down. With a put, you want the stock to go down. If you buy a put, you think the stock's going down, right? It's having that understanding of when you look at your charts, what's going on, right? What do I see? What's my analysis? How do I use what's happening in there? AMD seems like it's making a little bit of a push, right? But make sure you can read those charts. Have a good understanding. Have your core group of stocks that you understand that heartbeat inside and out. If you're inside a power option plays, take the 20, break it down to 5 or 6, and that should be your core that you like to trade all the time. Right? I know Amazon's expensive. I love trading Amazon. One of my favorite trading stocks of all. I think the cost keeps away a lot of the riffraff, a lot of the crazy people that pull out for the wrong reasons. Right? Now, don't get me wrong. There's some stupid people trading that too. Yeah, Erica said, me too. Yeah, I love it. Oh yeah. So PK said, I remember the up and down of the receiver, but never Mary. Oh no, Mary was always in the conversation. Yeah, always in the conversation. And the funny thing was, and it's a true story, by the way, with her hanging up. Later on in high school, we became very good friends. Wound up, I liked her, she liked me. I didn't ask her to the prom, I asked somebody else, and we never got together, never dated. And she told me many years later that, oh yeah, I had such a crush on you. So why'd you hang up? You devastated me when you did that. Oh goodness. All right. So guys, there you have it. I hope you got some good pieces out of it today. Look at the charts, look at the analysis, listen to the news. Listen to the news. Amy just dropped a link in there to the gap stats. All right, so go check that out, folks. On days, not only days like today, on every day when your stock gaps, go and run a stat. Go run a statistic. Go and run a statistic and see how that statistic works for you, for your candidates that you're looking at. All right. Oh, you're quite welcome, Robert. All right, with that, ladies and gentlemen, we are done. You guys have a glorious rest of your day. God bless. Stay focused on the quest to becoming a great trader. Keep crushing it. And remember, folks, you're just one trade away. We'll leave the room open for a couple minutes. You can grab the gap stats if you got an interest in looking at that. And I will see all of you at our next update. Take care, folks. See you then.